November 1st, meeting order, 16, 6:02 p.m. Welcome all of you in tonight. First thing on the agenda is the approval of the agenda.
Mr. Chairman, just a couple of changes to the agenda. New business items number 2 and number 5. Number 2 is the installation of the water meters, and number 5 is the transit application. We'd like to put on both of those items until the meeting on the 15th. And then one other thing, Ms. Chapman, that was one of the visitors on the 3-minute visitor section, called today and is not going to be able to be here today. So I would ask if you consider those 3 changes. Okay.
Chairman, I've just been advised that we need to table the award bid for the construction manager for Highway 18 expansion also until the next meeting.
Mr. Chairman, I'd like to add executive session for the land purchase.
Okay, I've got everything. Anybody, I need a motion.
So moved, Mr. Chairman.
Motion. Get a second. All in favor?
Aye.
Motion carried. Turn our invocation night, pledge to allegiance is Mr. Bo Turner of Real Life Church. Please stand.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Can we bow our heads? Dear Heavenly Father, we thank you tonight for your grace and your mercy and your love and compassion for us. We ask now that you would give divine guidance and direction, Lord, to our county government as they conduct the business of our county government. But also at this moment in this strategic time, we ask for your direction for our government, our national government, Father, the United States of America. Give us wisdom and knowledge during this time. And Lord, we do thank you for it all, and we bless you. In Jesus' name, amen.
Amen. Thank you, Mr. Hopkins. Moving on now, item A, Youngstown County Board of Commissioners proposal to rezone Oak Ridge Estates subdivision from Ag 1 agricultural rural to R1 single family residential subdivision located off Highway 49 near Baldwin County line.
Mr. Chairman, this is in response to a proposal you all made a couple of months ago to rezone this portion of the county. Out of concerns with some residents due to encroachment of double wide into their subdivision, they wanted to get the subdivision changed to R1 so no further can be brought in. Through the process, Mr. Hill approached my office and pointed out that his 2 lots are not part of the subdivision, that they predated the creation of the subdivision, and asked that they be excluded from the rezoning area. I mistakenly grabbed them and put them in with it. So the Planning Commission has recommended approval of this request with the exceptions of parcels 1 and 7 as shown on map 41.
Yes, Mr. Joyer.
Yes, sir, Mr. Chairman, I just asked that the board approve this proposal by planning and zoning.
Okay, I got a motion, I get a second. Second, any discussion? All in favor? Motion carries. Okay, Jim. Item B, Rodney and Angie McGraw request a conditional use to allow single wide property located at 146 Val Russell Road and consists of 30+ acres, zone Ag 1.
Mr. Chairman, the caller approached our office about placing a single wide on their home, pointing out they had a son that they wanted to live there, be closer to help provide a little bit of medical attention for them. They have not applied for this under the ATU provision. It will be a permanent single wide. Planning Commission has recommended approval of this request.
Larry, this in your area.
I'd make a motion to approve.
Second.
Second.
Second, any discussion? Not all in favor? Motion carries.
Thank you, John.
Thank you, Jim, appreciate it. Moving on down to consent agenda, approval of minutes. Number one, council third Tuesday meeting in December, which is normally done. And number two, third Tuesday meeting, October 18th to 16th. Have a motion?
So moved.
Got a motion, I guess, second. Second, any discussion? All in favor? Motion carried. Moving on to this for 3 minutes, Ms. Joan Brown, resident of Upper River Road, exempt livestock dogs from section 14-2, keeping dogs under control. Ms. Jones?
Hello, everybody.
Please.
I'm Joan Brown. Triple H
No,
Charlotte.
you don't have to stay.
I'm Triple H Charlotte Realty in Brown Street, North Farm. This is a Arabian horses, Tennessee Walkers, and American Walking Ponies, which is a breed I developed and operate the rest worldwide. I have some valuable horses. We're having a problem with coyotes. And they have killed, I had mare foals in the pasture, they killed and ate the foal. I had a gelding that attacked and they ate his rear out. And they're telling me, we can't have dogs in Jones County. We need the Great Pyrenees, or stock dogs that won't bother anybody except take care of animals. There are a lot of farms in Jones County, and the way it is, without being able to have a dog to stay with them, they will kill the animals. And I plead with y'all, these are not dangerous dogs. We don't have anything like bulldogs or anything like that. But we need the Great Pyrenees or other stock dogs just to stay with the horses and the cows and the animals to protect. And I appreciate it. Y'all help me.
Larry, this is your regular comment.
Well, all we're gonna have to do is, send this to the committee process. But if we're gonna amend anything at their recommendation, that would be my suggestion.
John, you got anything you want to add to this?
The only thing is, with animal control, the complaints that we've had were with the Great Pyrenees and a boxer, and I think the boxer belongs to your ranch.
Bob, to the guy who works for me, and they
Oh.
came to my house in the road with him to get hay off the hay trail. That's why they were down there.
We get frequent people that jogging or walking up and down over the road for exercise purposes or what have you. And they say that the Great Pyrenees, the boxer doesn't really do too much, but the Great Pyrenees comes out and scares them. He just runs out and charges them or what have you, they run off, run away, and then they call us to go out there, and that's the complaints that we're getting. In the past, I believe Ms. Gibbs has written a citation for the dog.
Yes, that they were down there with the hay man, yeah.
Right. I think the only thing, unless the horses or the livestock that you have is outside of the pen, there shouldn't be any need for the animals, the dogs to be outside. The leash law basically states, keep your animals inside your pen or tied up or on a leash when they're outside of the house. If they're in the field with the livestock, that's okay. But if they run out to the road when residents are jogging or running or whatever, that's a different matter altogether.
They just hit this dog, just these two, his and mine, followed him down there to get hay. And the guy wasn't far from him, he was on my property.
That was jogging.
Mhm.
Right, okay.
And of course, there's some folks like that, citizens anyway. We nailed him as being a citizen.
Okay.
Mr. Chairman, John and I, he asked me about this, we talked a little bit earlier, and as he just said, John, as long as the dogs are on your property, guarding your cows or horses or whatever, then that's fine, nobody can complain about that, if you can keep them within your fence, that's not a problem.
They come to my house with him because my cousin, over there with the hay, brings it and puts it in the driveway in front of the house.
Right.
And he has to go down the track and unload, the dogs follow him down.
Well, if they were on your property, that's okay, if
They
they were
were
in your,
on my property.
but if your dogs are on your property, I mean, they're not guarding anybody, I don't think that's a problem, but I think we have a problem exempting certain kind of dogs from our ordinance and saying it's okay for these dogs to go on other people's property and they'd be scaring people and it'd be just a nightmare for enforcement. But as long as they're on your property, within your fences, that's not a problem. John, is that the way you see it? Yeah, so if you keep them on your property, I don't think there'll be a problem.
It would be just certain kind of dogs that we would need allowed, that would be the Great Pyrenees and the stock dogs. Not like people who've got pit bulls and all those things work as far as people getting hurt.
If we started trying to exempt livestock dogs, so we say, well, it's okay for these dogs to be on other people's property and just running at large and running wherever they wanna run, that would be a real problem for fire enforcement people. So if you just keep them on your property, I think that would solve the problem.
That around my house it fence, and when he comes down there to get the hay, they follow him in the tractor.
As long as it's your property, that's what it is.
It's on my property.
Well, that's fine.
When he complained, they were on my property. They didn't cross the road. Thank y'all.
Thank you.
Just John, I know John Wood back there in the back, he had donkeys with his, cattle. Have you ever thought about a couple of male donkeys in that horse?
That would be fine in the pen, but, you know, I own about 70 acres out there, and part of it, where the house is, probably got 12, 15 acres in the front's not fenced. And that's when the dogs come down with him when they come to get the hay. And I have heard that big dog out there in my carport, he thinks he's protecting me out there at night, in the middle of the night, which is great to have him there.
Yes, ma'am.
I had a man come to my door, he happened to be down there.
That's good.
Thank you, ma'am. Appreciate it. We'll run down to new business. Number position request, Tiffany Davis, code enforcement officer.
Good evening, gentlemen.
Good evening.
Hope everybody's doing well tonight. I come before you just as a small request. I have two properties, one located at 168 Peach Street in Haddock and one at 151 Alton Road, off of Highway 49. We have already gone through with Frank Childs, done the deed checks, everything is clear. I just want y'all's approval to go forward and tear these two down. The first quote for Peach Street is $47.40. Second quote for 151 Alton Road is $4,300, so it is below the $5,000 threshold. So I'm just coming before the board, to get approval to go ahead and move forward.
We could do, I guess if we approve it this evening, when would they go ahead and tear the homes down?
When I call, he's ready.
About
You
that
will have
request.
to do it as business,
Yes, ma'am.
just to
Yes.
double check, because we don't do that until I get y'all's approval first.
Anybody got any more questions about it, ask for a vote? Oh, I need a motion.
So move, Mr. Chairman.
I got a motion, I get a second. Second, any discussion? Not all in favor? Motion carries 5-0.
Thank you.
Thank you,
Thank
Tiff.
you, Jim. Have a good evening.
Moving on down to number 4, award bid for 217 charge dodges for the sheriff's department. Y'all got the bid. Bid in?
Yes, so we, received two bids today for the Dodge Chargers, one from Macon Dodge, was the low bidder, in the amount of $143,394. The, other bid received was from Gator Commercial, $144,894. So I believe the recommendation here would be to award the bid to Macon Dodge for the amount of $143,394.
I got a recommendation, I need a motion. Got a motion, I get a second.
Second.
Second, any discussion? Not all in favor? Motion carried 5-0. Moving down to number 6 on the new business. Approval of resolution authorizing continuation of volunteers to be covered by a volunteer fireman insurance service. Approved for self-insurance. Don?
Yes, sir. Thank you, Chairman. I was notified by our financial director, Levita, that we needed to reaffirm our contract or resolution for our insurance for our volunteers. It had been since the early 80s since we've done this, and it's been a long, long time. We've been doing business with this, the same volunteer fireman insurance services for that many years, and it's served us very well. I do want to say this about BFIS. It's the only service that I know of that does this type of coverage for volunteers. They actually go out for bid every 24 months and, find the best prices, that you can get out in the field by, good and, reputable companies. The next 24 months is gonna be with Liberty Mutual Insurance Company, and it's gonna cost, per volunteer, $91 per volunteer every year. So we're budgeted for that, but, she wanted me to go ahead and reaffirm, a contract in, with a resolution to go forward.
That's what you asked for.
Yes,
Y'all need a motion.
So moved, Mr. Chairman.
A motion, I get a second. Second. Any discussion?
Quick question, Don, how many volunteers do you have?
149 as today.
And is this an increase or decrease?
This is, the last 8 years, we have gotten a refund every year because we haven't had any injuries. It's steady right now. Like I said, the VFIS takes care of the accidental death benefits and the disability and all the medical expenses. With Liberty Mutual coming in for the next 24 months, they'll take care of the workers' comp. So both pitch in. We pay $54.86 per volunteer a year for VFIS and $35.80 per volunteer. So we're talking right in the neighborhood of $91 a year for each volunteer. I looked at it on the slide of how much we've been paying, typically between $12,000 and $15,000 a year. If we're talking this year, we're talking, what, $11,000? So looks like we've got a pretty good price this year, but we've had no injuries in several years. So we got a check just a few weeks ago for $790 some odd back. So it was a refund in workers' comp. So we haven't had any injuries. So, thank you. Yes, sir.
Thank you, Don.
Yes.
No comment? If not, I need a motion. Got a motion, get a second.
We have a motion and a second.
Okay. we'll sign it.
All in favor?
Aye.
With no old business, let's move on down to department heads. Don, anything?
Yes, sir. I wanted to tell you right on that, if somebody can add $5,334 plus $8,174, that's our premium for this year. How much is that? Okay, so we're right in the ballpark. I think I said between 12 and 15, so I always budget 15. I come to you two things tonight. This one, I had in my 10-year plan. And it's coming sooner than I thought. And I'll only make a comment tonight, and I'll bring some more later on, but this is just a comment tonight. Our radio system is not doing very well. We have a sick system. The system is over 30 years old. It's made by GE. I know that you know the problems that the sheriff's is having. In the past 2 weeks, since we've talked about the sheriff's problem with Juliet, I've had 2 boaters go down. That's our repeaters. I've got a repeater down in Juliet, and I've got a repeater down on the south side on 49. So it leaves me with 4 repeaters left. So it's hit and miss. I had called a vendor out of Macon to come and just check our system, see if we could patch something up. There are no parts, and I'll say that 100 times, no parts to be added to our system. They don't make the boater anymore. Hadn't been for years. But our main transmitter is only running between 43 and 45%. So we've got money in the splash. I'm just putting it in your ear that I'm looking to see if we can solve this problem before we go out and spend a little bit of money for our radio system. If we don't have our radio system, communications is not so well in the county. In the city, when we're near our 411 foot tower out here, we're okay. But once we get out, we're not in so good shape. if we were to install the cheapest system right now, the cheapest would be right around $250,000 to $300,000. And that would be just a Moto Turbo type, no 800, no 700 megahertz, nothing fancy. This is as basic as you get. And I think that what we've got now has lasted this long and it's been very basic. We can probably get along with another 20 years of another basic product. So that's just my thinking. I've got feelers out to try to get me some parts in Florida. I've talked with our administrator. He's got a few ideas, and but I'm gonna make the best out of it. If we can fix it, we'll get it fixed. If we can get by, we'll get by. But it was just about my last thing on my 10-year list to replace. We knew we had to do it, but I didn't know it was coming this soon. But the last thing I just want to say, we're going to change our clocks this weekend. And when you change your clocks, go ahead and change your batteries and your smoke detectors too. I appreciate it.
Now, quick question.
Yes, sir.
Is there a major difference between what the sheriff uses and what you use?
Extremely. Theirs is a digital, very sophisticated system that they have.
Can't piggyback, can't use a different channel off of theirs? I'm asking a question. Yes or no? Can you? I left my radio at the house. Can we piggyback off?
Yes, sir.
So this is not difficult for us, but more difficult for you. It's a matter of us asking, right?
With the equipment that we would need to put to replace in our vehicles, it would cost way more than that $250,000 just to have the radios that are required for his system, for the sheriff's system. It's a sophisticated system, there's no doubt, and one of the better ones out there, but he's having extreme problems, and I'm not sure if it's gonna be fixed. The last thing here that, I'm not real sure that it's not 100%. I think if we stay basic, it's easier for the volunteers. It's easier to fix. I just keep it basic and that's all we need.
All right. Thank you, Tom. That's all. Steve, you got anything?
Yes, right now, couple of things. First of all, I want to give you an update on, Sun Valley. Chris and I mailed this morning, we got 3 out of 9 easements so far. So we're pushing along pretty good, so I want to give y'all an update. She did email Sunset, let them know what's going on. Second thing is, we do adjustments, every week at the board office, and that consists of penalties, we have one to pass on, nobody lives in the house, of course, we couldn't take it to the grave and get the money, so we had to write off that money. So I just wanna let y'all know what we're doing to keep the board abreast of what's going on. September 14th, the weekly adjustments will continue about a month and a half. We had 275 leak adjustments. That's the meters being out. That's estimated reading, stuff like this. Had 18 sewer adjustments, 24 reverse penalties, late fees, 1 overpayment, and 1 adjusted write-off due to the death of a customer, which was $667.72. Bottom line is, during that time, total adjustments that we rolled off was $18,596.46. So y'all can see why these meters are very, very, very important to us to get this revenue coming back in. The second one is passed, October 14th. That was a month. We rolled off, water was $3,067.13. Sewer was $130.47. Haddock was $25.28. They could have cut. And the penalty was $13.43. We had 14 leak adjustments, 3 reverse penalties, 10 meters out, estimated reading, 1 vacant house. So that total was $3,236.32. So I just wanna let y'all know what's going on with my finances.
Freddie, $672 is a write-off. Just curious, is that a commercial or residential?
That was just a write-off due to a customer's death.
So how does,
Just the penalties and late fees, disconnect fees that accumulated that high. And if we don't know, say like John over here passes, we just keep sending bills. We don't know unless somebody notifies
do you
us.
turn it off?
We turn it off,
So how long has it been off?
but I had to research that. I don't know, Commissioner Martin.
I'm just curious, 'cause that's a large water, Macon Water Authority is not gonna give me $672.
No, that's accumulated over $45 disconnect. They still get a minimum bill.
60 days.
Right.
Max.
That's
Yeah,
a
we're really- I'm
6
off.
days.
Okay. Do we have a policy that says, hey, after 60 days, we're stopping, or we just keep going?
So it keeps sending bill until somebody tells a final bill, or until they say removed, take it out of my name, or whatever.
Does everybody get cut off when they're late?
Unless you call and make arrangements. They still charge the disconnect fee, but we don't cut them off. If you say, Fred, I'm gonna pay my bill the 20th, well, cut off the 17th. But we won't cut you off, we can still assess that $45 disconnect fee. So I just wanna bring y'all's attention to what's going on.
And if I just ask, have you guys started the conversation with Baldwin County about, trying to solve the water line between Haddock and Baldwin?
No,
Something like that?
to be honest with you, I haven't yet, but I know Jason very good. I might just gotta get with Tim to get the final, what we need, the pieces, all that stuff, and come back and talk to y'all.
Thank you.
Great, thank y'all.
Yes, sir.
Chairman, Commissioners. A couple things this evening. First thing is employee appreciation. I want to make you aware of the final details there. Be November the 10th. We'll be right here at the Government Center, back here by Pavilion and the Wellness Center. We're gonna have a few activities for the employees to come and enjoy. Have hamburger, hot dogs, coleslaw, and baked beans, and some other fixings. It'll start at 11, end at 1, and then, as previous years, employees will be off for the remainder of the day at that point. As previous years, it's up to department heads to get their employees there, make them sign in and sign out, things of that nature. So make sure we extend the invite to you, the commissioners, please come November 10th, between 11 and 1, to enjoy, some food and, some other activities as well. The other thing is, we did receive our $4,000 grant for the Wellness Committee. This year, they're doing not GMAC, LGRMS is doing it a little bit different. They're giving us in 2 increments. We already received the first $2,000 that's been turned into the finance department. The other $2,000 will come next March. So we got some good plans to spend that $4,000 to continue to help employees, try to stay fit and healthy. So thank y'all for that. Thank the Wellness Committee, Angie and Tiffany, and Chris and Aaron, with the Water Department. Appreciate them and their help. Last thing is I come for you tonight to ask permission to close the golf course on Thanksgiving Day. We'll be open the day before and the day after. Just like permission to close it on that day, if we may. It'll still be open for people who want to come and walk and enjoy it, but won't be anyone to sell carts or put carts and things of that nature. Have permission for that.
It's fine with me, man.
We'll make that a motion. John,
Yes, I make a motion that we close on the golf course on Thanksgiving Day.
I got a motion, get a second. I'll second. Second, any discussion? Not all in favor?
Thank you very much.
Thank you, man. Chris, you got anything? Okay. Moving on to commissioners' comments. Mr. Child.
I would just like to ask the board members for some clarification. And I meant to call you then, I forgot to. It's not the golf course, a little while back, we voted and Matt took over the management and overseeing the operations of the golf course there. But, at that meeting, did we remove that, Merle, did we make Merle still in charge of cutting ranks and greens, or is that under that too?
To my understanding, everything is up under Matt with the organization chart that he presented to us.
I didn't hear that.
That's the way it is in the minutes.
I don't think the minutes is quite clear. That way everybody remembers.
Yeah, I mean, from my understanding, once you put a person over that person on an organization chart, then in some of your words, Merle is Matt's supervisor.
I understand.
Okay.
But I thought that Matt was still going to be in charge of the rest of the cut, I don't know.
I guess it comes down to the assignments that Matt gives the employees in each department.
Just want clarification on it.
How's that working out, Matt?
I mean, it's working good. I mean, there's some adjustments that are taking place, but for the most part, it's going good.
Matt, more or less taking good at grass and golf stuff.
I mean, yes, sir, Merle still, you know, I'm letting him still maintain supervision of his employees over the grass and the upkeep and the well-being of the golf course, yes, sir. And I mean, we work together, we talk, and I try not to micromanage him, but there's times where, you know, someone has to make a final decision.
Okay. How many we got?
No, sir.
Mr. Rogers?
No.
Mr. White?
Yes, sir.
Moving on down to citizens' comments, 1 minute.
Good evening, my name is Cliff Lason, I live on Bowling Hill Road in Haddock, Georgia. In July, the county paid $4,800 to a contractor to install a French drain on the 18th fairway at the golf course. This could have easily been done by golf course personnel and probably in less than 4 hours using approximately $300 worth of material. Last week, there was a wet spot in the line where the water was coming to the surface and the surrounding area was spongy to walk on. This indicates this was probably a faulty installation. Recreation has requested an additional personnel for the new complex. For approximately the last 7 months, 2 recreation employees have been assigned to the golf course to trim limbs at least 2 days a week. This during prime grass cuttings time. Also, an ad was placed recently for a pro shop attendant. A person was hired to work several days in the pro shop and was moved to the recreation office. If the office help is needed, why advertise for an attendant only to hire another attendant a few weeks later? Thank you.
Thank you. Want to comment on that, Matt?
I would, yes, sir. I'm not really, aware of what he's talking about, a spongy spot in the fairway. I'm not familiar with that. It hasn't been brought to my attention, and I hadn't seen it in my rounds, riding around the course, and I do that at least once a week, sometimes more. As far as the staff he's talking about, that was done above board, nothing hidden. I went to Chris with everything, we discussed it. The part-time position that he's referring to is a person that is doing our sanitation at the recreation department. She is a female. She comes in, she cleans the bathrooms, she cleans up the building, and then she does help me with the new PO system, because now with the new PO system, you can't just grab a paper PO and run it wherever you need to. And with me and Merle, Kevin, and Michael out working, if we need something, someone has to stop, go back into the office, go into the process, which is about, correct me if I'm wrong, but about a 30-step process. Is that about right? But anyway, it's not as simple as it used to be. So what this person does is stays handy for my recreation as well as Kevin and Merle at the golf course when we need to go to Jackson Brothers or Lowe's or wherever it may be. Ace Hardware. This particular person is able to go into the office, get that PO, document all the needs of what's going on, and then go back to doing other assignments that she's been assigned to do. And when the new concession building is done up on the hill, that person will also be responsible for going up there, cleaning those bathrooms, handling that trash as well. So it's not just an office person that he's referring to. And this person that was replaced by a gentleman named Stanley Smith, who is now working at the golf course in the position that we have. The golf course personnel that we have out there, we operate off the same hours that we always operate off of. In the past, you'll be familiar that Merle had gazillions of comp hours. And those hours came from Merle having to work in the pro shop when someone called in sick. The way the hours operated at the golf course was they had one employee that would literally work from open to close on a Saturday or a Sunday. That's anywhere from 14 to 17 hours, depending on where your daylight savings is not. That person would come in at 7 o'clock in the morning, not get off till 9 o'clock at night, one employee, all day long. So what I did, went to Chris, went to Levitas, talked about the numbers, talked about the math, and said, can we hire some other part-time people? Same bucket of hours, same bucket of money, we're just gonna chop it. Instead of one person working like that, we now have two different shifts. We have a shift where someone comes in at 7 o'clock in the morning, gets off at 2 o'clock, someone comes in at 2 o'clock, gets off at 8 o'clock. Two different shifts, breaks it up. We have a floater, person calls in sick, myself or Wayne or Merle, nobody has to go out there and have excessive hours. We have a floater that's able to come in and make up those hours. Now, if that's what he's referring to, that's how it is at the golf course. Same bucket of money, same bucket of hours. It's just more employees to fill that, but it also makes up for any lacking of time space. Because as you know, 29 hours is the maximum amount of hours that part-time people are allowed to work.
I was thinking February, but I've been included.
What he's referring to was, the 18 fairway had an area that, stayed saturated all the time. So we went out and got quotes, from multiple people to put in a French drain going from the top to the bottom on the 18 fairway. That's what he's referring to. I don't know what way it's fine. I will get with that first thing in the morning, get with Kevin.
Maybe put fire in town.
Yes, sir. Thank you very much.
No more comments, 1 minute?
Well, I got a question. If it was $4,800, why did they get quotes? How many quotes did you get? If it's under $5,000, is a quote necessary? I mean, the extra price?
Because I was asked by the commissioners to check into it. It wasn't mandatory, they asked me to do it, so I did it.
Okay.
All right. For the good of all, I'm gonna ask for adjournment, go in executive session for land purchase.
So moved, Mr. Chairman.
Second.